So I wrote some code that calculated basically the effective crit rate that we get from the Royal Polearm because it's a little bit complicated and it kind of adds up over stacks and then you lose it once you get a crit hit. My code didn't consider it stopping at 5 stacks, so it actually maxes it out all the way to 100%. Okay, so this is my code and I'm just going to slowly scroll through it, but basically what it does is that it makes about 1 million simulations and then it just tests if there's a crit or not a crit, and if there is not a crit, then basically it increases the crit rate and it'll just keep kind of doing that until there's a crit. So I didn't consider the stacks, so it's not going to be exact at low crit rates, but when it's at a high crit rate, these numbers are very accurate. So here we can see my tabulated results, and basically these numbers are the cumulative crit rate, which are the sum of the base crit rate plus any effect bonus that is given by the polearm's effect. And so, yeah, you can see these here, and then basically this is the bonus, the critical rate bonus that the polearm gives to the user. So here is a visual representation of this, and what we can see, the main trend is that the lower your base crit rate is, the bigger or the better effect that the polearm is going to have because it's able to proc the effect more often. The higher we get, it gives only about 4 or 5% of an increase, which is not so good because that's like any rune substat. Um, so I think a sweet spot to go to is probably around 30%, and you can kind of sway like here or there. But if you want to get some decent use out of this, at 30% it'll only give you about 10%, so you'll have a 40% crit rate, which is like not too bad in my opinion, but it's not ideal basically. Also, some of these numbers should be lower because my simulation didn't consider the 5 stacks, so it would just keep going until it reached 100% crit rate and definitely got a crit. Here we can see the percent increase, or basically how much the crit rate bonus was of the weapon, just as a function of the base crit rate. So we can see we're getting about, according to my numbers, 20% here, and then we can see it dropping as your base crit rate increases. So you can use sort of this in the tables at the beginning to try and figure out how much crit rate you're actually effectively increasing yourself by. You're also not going to see this crit rate increase on your character screen because this kind of just happens as you're fighting, right? So you can't see, maybe if you pause it, you could see how many stacks you're at, but this is kind of the cumulative, over a long period of time, average crit rate increase that you're going to get. And this will apply for any royal weapon, so yeah, you can use it for that. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.